Hi, my name is Lorraine.
Hi, I'm Kathy.
Hi, my name's Ross, and you are listening to
And you're listening to
Tameside Voices.
Download this podcast for free. Good afternoon, this is Lorraine Whitehead from Tameside Voices, and we've got Natalie Beswick here with us. I ask you what initially drew you to doing this type of work?
I've always loved DIY. My dad did this for a living, and when I wanted to leave my corporate job and work for myself, this was the natural fit for me to do. So first off, I set off building flat pack furniture because I absolutely adore it. I'll do it for a hobby. I will pay people to let me come and build their flat pack furniture. I love it that much. And then at the same time, I went back to school. And I did a course in home maintenance with the intention of becoming a handy person. And then learned that there was more courses available. And there was a demand for painting and decorating. There was a lot of requests for painting and decorating jobs. So back to school I went, and I did advanced painting and decorating, and now I do a combination of all three of them.
That's brilliant. What job gave you the most satisfaction?
I enjoy doing all of them. I like the variety. I think anything with a big transformation at the end, a blank space to a great big 4-door wardrobe, or a very shabby looking room to something crisp and elegant, white to a bright colour to white, something that is a real makeover. That's very satisfying.
I think you could come and do our house. We could do with a bit of that. How do you stay up to date with the latest in techniques?
Well, every day's a school day for me at the moment. I'm learning all the time. I'm new to it, so I'm constantly learning. Social media is a massive source of education. A lot of networking on there, watching what other people are doing, getting tips. Of course, there's lots of advertising on there as well. Gives me the chance to look at the products that are out there. For the moment, finding my own way is a bit of a trial and error. But definitely learning from people that have been in the trade much longer than me and getting their advice.
There's nothing better than learning from somebody that's been doing it for years, is there really?
Yeah.
Because they can tell you all the little tips and, you know, that they don't tell you perhaps on through other avenues. Can I also ask you, do you find any bias, because it's what traditionally has been known as a man's world, the things you're doing? Have you found any drawbacks to being a woman, or have you found it advantageous?
Advantageous, yeah. When I very first set out, I was staying away from promoting being a female. People would correct me to say that I was a handy woman, and I didn't have a strong desire to lean on the female aspect. I just wanted to move into the trade and be respected for who I was. But what's become evident is I can't ignore it. I can't ignore it because there is a positive attitude towards it. I've since learned that there's only 1% of tradespeople are female, whilst at the same time my audience on my social media and my customers are 80% female. And many of them have said that they chose me because I'm a female. So there's definitely a demand there without a supply. So that's obviously been really, really positive. I've not faced any particular negative bias. I think if there's been any prejudice, it's probably been unknown to the people and not with any malice. It's just an automatic kind of raise of the eyebrow. Oh, that's a surprise. Now, how'd you get on with this? How'd you get on with that? But certainly nothing negative.
That's good to hear. That's really good to hear. And like you say, it's been positive for you, because there's a lot of ladies. It seems from what you've said that there are more ladies there that can't do the DIY than men. So they would want a lady to come to them. And if it inspires other ladies as well to go into the trade, it's a very, very good thing. So well done. Have you got a Facebook page?
I do, yeah. Yeah, that's where most of my work is advertised and people contact me. It's simple handle of Flat Pack Nat.
What's it called, sorry?
Flat Pack Nat.
Flat Pack Nat. Do you advertise any other way?
A number of different ways. I've got my website, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok now, can you believe? Nearly 14 on TikTok. And Instagram, the obvious. And there's, of course, a lot of these referral websites that people use now. Check a Trade, Trust a Trade, TaskRabbit's a new, quite popular sites. There's lots of avenues of the work coming in.
What do you think would incentivise more women to do this? Because I've noticed now there are quite a lot of women gas engineers, and it's nice to see it because from what I've seen of them, they are very professional, very amenable. What do you think we could do to get more women into this sort of role?
Make it known that we're allowed to be in this space. I certainly, growing up, it was never discussed that women went into trades. It was never promoted to me. I don't have daughters, I only have sons, so I don't know what happens in schools these days, but it feels like it's just not an avenue that's presented to women. We all assume it's something that men go and do, and there's absolutely no reason for it. You do not need to be a big, strong man to work in trade. You don't have to have your butt crack out, and you don't have to eat butties in the van. I'm not entirely sure where the stereotype comes from, because in reality there's nothing about being a man or being a woman that makes you better or worse in this industry. I think it's just how it's always been, and we've accepted it. And so my personal plan now, together with another female tradeswoman, is to create a network of female tradeswomen. And as you just said, one of the things we'd like to look at is empowering women with the DIY skills in training, but also supporting other women who want to move into it as a profession. This was where I had no interest before in anything like this, but it's impossible to ignore it. There is so many people mentioning things to me, and there's huge gaps where nobody else is doing anything. And I guess if somebody's going to show them that it can be done and how to do it, then somebody has to start somewhere, and I'm quite happy to help and support anybody that would be interested and just doesn't have a clue what to do.
And you would be a fantastic role model, because I think your enthusiasm is infectious. Perhaps if we taught more of it in schools.
Yes.
We've got one in 8 17, 18-year-olds that aren't in full-time education or work at the moment. So this would be another avenue for those students to branch out into, if we made it more, perhaps gave some confidence building, because I should imagine this builds your confidence as you go along. What has been your most challenging project?
I think there's two different types of the challenges. My very first build was a challenge because I had to rip up the instructions and think outside of the box. It was a great big wardrobe in a very, very small space. Designed to be built lying down and stood up at the end. Space was never going to allow it. A lot of thinking outside of the box. Problem solving, something that I like to do, and it was really needed in that job. It was a hot, sweaty day, so physically and mentally very challenging, but coming away from it, I was really proud we did it, and it was I've chose the right avenue here. I've got some natural skill and talent here that'll take me beyond just following a book of instructions. But then there's other jobs that physically, on your hands and knees, scrubbing and filling and caulking and getting canvases beautifully prepped before you put any paint on to get the best quality work, and that can take a day. Some houses, if they've not had any attention, could take 2 days to do that, and that's physically challenging, and requires the mental strength to keep going so you can get that paintbrush in your hand and do the fun stuff. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I hope that other women are watching this and they'll consider getting into this avenue of work, because you're so passionate about what you do and you're so inspirational. So I hope you keep building and building, and your business takes off because you do work hard and you are very inspirational. So thank you very much for coming. Pleased to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
And take care. Bye.
Download this podcast for free.